Like and subscribe and click the bell icon to get new video updates.
The latest on the Ukraine-Russia crisis. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said he was concerned about reports that troops from Russia and Belarus will continue joint military exercises past their planned end date as the threat of a Russian invasion looms large. Blinken continued, "We've seen that over the last few days. Now they justifying the continuation of exercises in quotation marks that they said would end now. The continuation indefinitely of those, quote, unquote, exercises, on the situation in eastern Ukraine, a situation that they created by continuing to ramp up tensions." Blinken noted that Russia has been escalating the forces they have across Ukraine's borders over the last months, from 50,000 forces to 100,000 to now more than 150,000. So all of this, along with the false flag operations we've seen unfold over the weekend, tells us the playbook we laid out is moving forward, he said. As Ukrainian authorities reported further ceasefire violations in the east of the country, and top Western officials, including the US Vice President Kamala Harris and British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, warned about an impending conflict, people in Kyiv weren't giving up on leisure. Across the Ukrainian capital, families flocked to the parks and playgrounds on Sunday, enjoying the winter sunshine and blue skies. This is not a city that looks like it's on the brink of a conflict. Under the Motherland Monument, a 102-meter-tall statue of a woman with a shield and a sword that towers over the country's war museum, children were having great fun climbing up and down the tanks on display there. Across the river, in Dniprovsṁkyy Park, scores of people were spending their Sunday morning running, cycling and inline skating. Nearby, on the sandy bank of the Dnieper River, children were happily digging in the sand, watching the ducks swim by. But the sense of pride and resolve, heightened in recent months amid the growing tension, remains ever present. On the world-famous Maidan Square, the site of the 2014 bloody protests, huge flags are still on display following Wednesday's Day of Unity, a national holiday spontaneously declared by the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. On a hill above the square, photographs of those who died during the protests are on permanent display. The events of 2014 are known here as the Revolution of Dignity, and those who died during them are referred to as the Heavenly Hundred. On Sunday, dozens of people gathered by the memorial wall, lighting candles, laying flowers and decorating the monument with fresh blue and yellow ribbons which are on display everywhere in the city. French President Emmanuel Macron called both his Russian and Ukrainian counterparts on Sunday morning in a last-ditch effort to avert a Russian invasion of Ukraine, the Élysée Palace said in a statement. Macron spoke with Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky for 30 minutes, right after a long phone conversation with Russian President Vladimir Putin, according to the French presidency. The phone conversation with President Putin lasted 1 hour 45 minutes, the Élysée Palace said. The calls come a day after the French president previously spoke with Zelensky. An Élysée Palace source had previously told CNN that Paris hoped to construct a useful roadmap for the coming days. Putin has every reason to see Zelensky as unwilling to implement Minsk agreements, says Kremlin spokesperson. Russian President Vladimir Putin has every reason to see Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky as unwilling to implement the Minsk agreements, Russian presidential spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said in comments Sunday on Russian state television. Peskov also suggested the Kremlin was prepared to disclose confidential discussions of high-level talks with other world leaders to counter what he described as deliberate and misleading leaks by foreign officials. "I hope that we will not live in a world where we have to read out the transcripts of the closed part of the president's talks," Peskov said. "But when it is necessary to prove the correctness of our president, we can and will do anything." Some history. In early 2014, mass protests in the capital Kyiv, known as Euromaidan, forced out a Russia-friendly president after he refused to sign an EU association agreement. Russia responded by annexing the Ukrainian peninsula of Crimea and fomenting a separatist rebellion in Ukraine's east, which seized control of part of the Donbas region. A rare meeting between Russian, Ukrainian, German and French leaders in February 2015 sought to bring peace to areas of Ukraine that had been taken over by pro-Russian separatists the year before. Those areas, in Ukraine's Donbas region, became known as the Luhansk People's Republic, LPR, and the Donetsk People's Republic, DPR. The Ukrainian government in Kyiv,